Hello, our truth warriors, and welcome back to the Atlantic Underground. Today, we're getting up to speed with the current situation with Reiner Fuellmich, who was basically kidnapped in Mexico by German authorities on trumped up white collar charges, and yet he still sits in a German jail now for 2 years without fair trial or release, being given 3 years and 9 months sentencing. For those who have followed this work, you will know he was bringing the Nuremberg trials 2.0 against the people like Big Pharma and government officials and many more for their part in the deaths of thousands from the safe and effective directives. Now, Daisy Papp has been the confidant and close friend to the family, helping Reiner and his wife Inka through these tough times. Daisy, welcome to the Atlantic Underground. How are you?
Thank you very much, Chris, for your generous invitation. And it is a very, very worthwhile and very generous introduction that you have here for Reiner. So I think also on his behalf, that is very kind of you.
No, thank you very much. Daisy, I know you've recently been to see him. How is Reiner holding up? It's been 2 years since he was taken, but you've was it in the past couple of weeks you went down to the prison where he's now being held, and the communication lines are opening up. But how's he holding up? How's he doing?
I am I'm happy to share that he is doing, for the circumstances, quite well. He is extremely well in his mind, very fit physically, and it's good to see him like that. And he knows what work lays ahead, and he is willing to work that work, and he's doing so every minute. And I think it is important to note that he's not doing that for himself. He's doing that for all humanity. And I find that absolutely stunning and admirable. And I'm just in awe,
Yeah.
truly.
I mean, it shows the true power of the man when he continues what he set out to achieve, regardless of his circumstances. Most people would just say, "Forget it, I'm done." But it's almost like this has powered him on. It's spurred him on to want to achieve these goals and prove the truth even more so. Now, let's go through the capture of him and how this transpired. I spoke to him last in my interview. I'll put the link to that last interview in the show notes here today. And he was actually coming out to visit me here with Inka to look at some properties where I live because the climate's a lot better than where they were. I was shocked when I heard the news, and I know, he told me about his passports being stolen. But what exactly transpired and what happened? I believe he had to go to the German consulate, but he was met at the airport by Mexican authorities to actually take him there. Could you run us through the actual story of what happened and how they managed to get him to Germany and put him into a jail?
I do it to the best of my knowledge, and I
Yeah.
do not speak legally, so forgive me. I'm not an attorney, and I'm not educated in law. So when I have words that I'm expressing in a different way, then thank you for your patience and for your gracious understanding.
Thank
Well,
you.
so what happened? They were in Mexico, as you say, and their passports were not to be found. And then they went to the local police and they reported that the passports were missing, stolen, or nobody really knows what happened to them. And then they reported that because also for their visa, that they can legally stay there because that is very important for them. And then they contacted the German embassy in Mexico City, and they said, no, you contact the consul, as you said correctly, in Tijuana, Mexico. And they did, and they said, yeah, well, you must come here and sign some papers. So they flew with a plane to Tijuana, signed the papers, and then they said, yeah, usually I hold a German passport myself and I have it renewed abroad as well. And what happens, you go there in person and then you sign your papers and you give them an envelope or a prepaid envelope from some delivery service, and then they mail it to me, to my home address. But for Inka and Reiner, that was not available. They said, no, you will have to come back here and pick up the passports yourself. And I said, okay, well, so be it. So they received notice that the that the passports were ready to pick up. And the consul said, let's meet at the airport in Tijuana because the consulate is under construction at the moment. So Reiner and Inka flew there. And then when Inka disembarked the plane, so she got off the plane and she already saw that there's lots of security and she was wondering, I wonder if they're coming for us. And Reiner was sitting in the rear of the plane. And when he just got off the plane and then they just got to him. They were all in civil and they said, will you come with us? There's something with the immigration. And then Reiner said, well, that's impossible because we have the police report that our passports are not to be found. And we have the police report that we are allowed to remain in Mexico legally. And we are here, by the way, to meet the German consul to pick up our new passports. And that is how it went. They went then to an office and Reiner called the embassy in Mexico City and they said, there's nothing we can do for you.
Yeah.
By the way, a little hint, afterwards, like 18 months later, the German embassy in Mexico City said that Reiner never asked for help.
Yeah. There's a web of lies being spun by the authorities. We know what the goal was. But arresting him and flying him out the country is tantamount in my eyes to kidnapping. At the end of the day, it's that he was coerced into something. And, the fact that the Mexican authorities were involved as well shows the power and the reach of the people that want to silence him.
I think that's a possibility. I think what is worthwhile mentioning that Reiner recorded a series of statements, and you can find them on his Substack, Dr. Reiner Fuellmich, and you can find it there. And there he explains exactly what happened with this kidnapping, and he even, let's say, explains it quite well for those who do not speak legalese like myself.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely stunning what they did and what was done.
Yeah.
It is just wow.
Yeah. No, that's it. Now, with the charges, Reiner clearly said no money had been stolen and that he purposely secured it in gold, which to me is a very wise move to do. I mean, we consider, gold at the time was 1,800. So if he took the cash and put it into gold, we're looking at now a gold being 4,100 per ounce. This has increased 2,300 per ounce just within the 2-year period. But are you aware if they have seized his assets?
Yeah, so Reiner still had a real estate property in Germany and was in the process of selling.
Yeah.
And I circle a little back from the 2020, 2021, when the Corona Investigative Committee was founded and Reiner was the head of it, as very visible throughout all the interviews that he was conducting. And because there were many, not only rumors, but facts that many people had bank accounts and they were receiving donations to continue work, their bank accounts were seized and frozen. And so the assets were frozen. And Reiner wanted to avoid that. So they had an agreement with Viviane, the co-host, and so that they both take out a loan and secure the money, because then with that, for example, when Reiner puts some money into his real estate, they cannot seize the real estate as easily than freeze a bank account. So that was also very wise. Yeah. And Reiner was in the process of paying back that loan through the sale of his property. Now, again, I do not speak legalese, but maybe humanese. So Reiner has a property. He's in the process of selling it. The money for the sale does not arrive neither in his bank account nor in his wife Inka's bank account, but at the people's bank account by name Marcel Templin, who is part of the accusers in the criminal complaint, who wrote the criminal complaint against Reiner. And I wonder, so I'm not a judge or the jury, but that's even clear to me. So how is it? So where's the money?
Yeah. So right now he's battling to try and get his own money back.
Well, it's with those who wrote the criminal complaint against him and who helped him being abducted or kidnapped from Mexico. And I find it also worthwhile noting that Reiner filed a criminal complaint against the people who filed the criminal complaint against him, including the judge who gave that curious trial, and against the Attorney General and some others. And that's 165 pages. And Reiner, again, in his recent voice statements, he is explaining that beautifully. And I think everyone will understand. So what actually happened to the money? Because there are still some people, they think, oh yeah, but where's the money? And Reiner took that money. Well, Reiner invested the money to save it from the German government and from it being frozen so that he will continue his work.
Yeah.
Now, I think it is absolutely worthwhile, a huge applause, maybe even standing ovations, that Reiner continues his work just as much as he did before. The circumstances are different,
Yeah.
but he is continuing his work from where he is in not freedom.
Yeah.
And whoever still has any questions or is insecure, so yeah, but what is with the money? And because I get that, because when money is involved, people think, oh, it has a smelly taste. Well, it is all revealed and it's all in the open, and all people can do is they can listen to the statements. That's really, even if it was not so sad then by fact, it's really entertaining. Yeah, and it's beautifully brought on stage by Reiner.
Yeah.
And I think it is time that we look where's the money and get it back to Reiner and to Inka, because this is, let's face it, neither one has an income.
No, that's it. No, it's they put him in a very, very deliberate and difficult position, unfortunately. Now,
Mm.
with him, obviously, it took quite a while for them to get to trial, and it's the first time that I've ever seen somebody held and not released on bail for what I consider to be a white collar crime.
Yeah.
Um, has the time that he served prior to his court case been taken into account against his sentence of 3 years and 9 months?
Partially, yes. But I think 5 months of those they do not take into consideration, because I think it's 5 months. Maybe I'm not right with the number. Because the judge explains that yes, Reiner and his team, the legal team, they prolonged the trial, but what they did, they didn't prolong. They wanted to bring in witnesses,
Yeah.
and whatever they wanted to bring in, but the judge always said, not possible, not possible, not possible, which is
Yeah.
very unusual. And yesterday I was asked from a gentleman also from the UK, and he said, so but where are the transcripts from the trial? And now that's interesting to note, I think, in Germany at that court, there is no one who is taking stenographic notes.
Yeah.
There is none. It is it is allowed for the judge to take his own notes based on what he wants to memorize or what he thinks is worthwhile memorizing or noting, and that is in the protocol. Now
Yeah.
imagine that.
So it's what we would call a kangaroo court. It's,
Yes, I heard that expression before. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's unbelievable. Now,
Yeah.
Reiner is, he's an excellent and
Mm.
well-renowned lawyer. Surely these charges, they should have been dropped. So the thing is, I'm asking the question, how much corruption is involved here to keep him imprisoned? And what is he saying about the legality of the charges that were brought against him?
Well, we can go to November 1st, if I remember correctly, but it was in 2023. I think it was in November, but I think it was the first, where Reiner was first brought in front of a judge in Germany. And that is when they learned what the charges were. And he said, well, no, this is not what happened. So at that moment, they should have let him free, but they didn't. And then it was, taken into length and taking their time and prolonging however it's possible to keep him as silent as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, um, I do believe that we will see very soon the work of Reiner's fruits.
Yes.
Yeah, the fruits of his work, because he is consistent and his perseverance is admirable
Yeah.
and great example for many.
Yeah.
And we will see what it brings, because yes, it is very corrupt. And again, in his statements as of September 9th, there are previous statements too, but that in that series, it's very explicitly, beautifully um, explained
Yeah.
how that is all corrupt. And
Yeah.
it's just, wow, it's a movie.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. And the thing is, it might be the worst thing they could have done. Because when you consider you put a man like that in a situation where he's in jail, where there's nothing else to distract him in regards to his thoughts about what he wants to achieve. I
Yeah.
imagine he's building something rather powerful in there to come back at them. Now, as Reiner expressed, continuing his work when he gets out, and what will become of his license to practice law at this stage?
There's nothing I can say to that, but I am 100% sure, based on what he shares with me and what he shares with his wife Inka, that he is going to continue the work. He says, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to do, and I will do it because I can.
Yeah, and when he
And
comes out, yeah, when he clears
yeah,
his name, that's going to be a
yeah,
real big positive signal moving forward
yeah, yeah,
for,
yeah,
for many other people around the world who have been under the jackboot of this tyrannical system, and especially
mhm,
what they just take the law into their own hands and do whatever they want. But I think it will be very empowering for many people out there to push forward with what they want to do and not allow the charges that are against other people for things, certainly through the whole pandemic side of things, that they will fight back and literally bring justice around the world. And I really hope, his idea of bringing Nuremberg 2.0 back to the table to hold people accountable for what they've done during
mhm,
this period of time.
mhm.
This is what the world needs to see, because it's a turning point for the world.
Yeah,
It's far greater than people realize once this comes about. Yeah.
I agree with you. One more thing that I'd like to add, that when you say this, then that they put him there and that it brought him much power, Reiner says it over and over, that, and really frequently, that he receives so many letters and postcards
Yeah.
and prayers and good thoughts and energy and visualizations. And he says, if somebody would have told me that some years ago, I would have not believed that that is noticeable. But he does notice it and he feels it, and he's so grateful
Yeah.
for every word people send him, for all that help, because we are many. And I think it is an illusion to continue believing that the divide et impera, the divide and conquer, can continue being alive, because it's not. We are many, and
Yeah.
we are more and more every day who realize only together can we achieve that. It's not like, oh yeah, but I'm the goody and the other one is not. No, no, together we can achieve that
Absolutely.
world that we are looking forward to living into.
And speaking of those positive messages that he
Mm,
receives, and the letters and postcards that he gets while he's there, not only are they empowering and encouraging
mm.
for him, it shows how many people are supporting him. But if people who are watching the podcast here now, or they're looking on social media where this is, if people want to get in touch with him, is it okay for us to publish the address?
Absolutely,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Reiner is very, very grateful for every letter. And I run a foundation. I founded in 2022, the Daisy Papp Mindset Evolution Foundation, and we arranged a mailing address for Inka.
Yeah.
So people can also send letters to Inka, and she's very, very grateful for receiving them. So it's beautiful, really,
Yeah.
when we see what beauty is in people, and that comes through their fingers, and either through the keys or the ink, it's just heartwarming.
Lovely. That's great. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll put in the show notes here and
Thank
on any
you.
of the channels that we're putting it out on. I'll
Thank
put the
you.
address, and it would be great if people could write to him and express what they're feeling and what they're thinking, and send him words of encouragement, because I think
Yeah.
that sticking together and doing this, showing solidarity, is the key to moving forward.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
how is he saying his treatment is in jail? What are they having him do during his daily routine there?
Well, so he is where he's currently at Bremervoorde is a very different institution than where he has been first in Rostorf, where he was not well treated, and he was 6 months in solitary confinement. So this
Really?
is, yeah, and he, well, you can also, again, I refer to his voice statements. It is just incredible. Yeah, he wasn't allowed to see his mother when it was clear that she's not going to be alive
Yeah.
much longer, and he was not allowed to attend her funeral. And this is, it's really,
Yeah. No, I mean
to
it's
me, it is like that we can see now that really it made him stronger.
yeah, yeah,
And it is whatever they tried to do, it didn't work.
yeah,
And it does not. And it does not, I think, solely energetically, because we are really the good energy and what he is bringing into life. He's not somebody who's filled with anger. No, he wants justice, because peace can only be when there is justice.
yeah,
And when the justice system, as I, I paraphrase, he says is totally corrupt, not only in Germany, but especially in Germany, then I think it is time that we reconsider, and that we also remember that politicians work for us. They
yeah,
are our employees, and it's I think a good idea to
yeah.
remember,
That's
become a
it.
member of humanity again.
Yeah, and the whole reason I'm going to get into politics when I go
Yes,
back to England is because I'm sick and tired of the same stereotypical person becoming a politician and literally working for the major influencers and
yes,
lobbyists that pay them to do the dirty work for them. It's about time we had somebody of the people for the people, and
yes,
certainly
yeah,
somebody that will tell the very people who they're employed by the truth of what's going on. And things really need to change. But I think things are changing anyway. And with what they've done to him there, as always, what doesn't break you will make you stronger. And it appears that what they've tried to do to him has spurred him on even further. Now, I know he was given no notice about his move to Bremerverde, is it?
say,
Um,
say it one more time.
is it Bremer Verde? How's you pronounce it?
Bremervoorde. Uh-huh,
Bremer
very
Verde.
good.
Yeah, yeah. And they gave him literally 5 minutes notice of being moved.
Yeah.
Did he have any problems? Because obviously he was working with files and paperwork on his own case while he
Mm.
was there. Did they
Mhm.
try and get rid of any of his works to stop him doing this?
Well, they withheld it for many weeks and months, so it took him a long time. I think it was in August where he finally received some of the files that were still not moved with him. So
Right.
it took weeks and weeks and weeks. And yes, he's working on his own defense, and he's working with a legal team. So that was not easy.
Yeah. So basically, it's dirty tactics, and yeah, they're trying to do anything they can to stop him coming after them, which is fantastic. Now, is he working on an appeal currently, and does he have an appeal date to be able to review his case again?
Mhm. So the appeal was filed in August. Was it August? 30 days. Maybe it was already July. I'm uncertain regarding that. I think it was within 30 days of the judgment. So then it must have been June,
Yeah,
maybe the June 30th. So that has been filed in Germany. It can take up to 18 months, if I'm informed correctly,
yeah,
that the revision, so the appeal is being looked at and considered. We have no update on that yet. What we have Reiner filed that criminal complaint, which is huge, big, and that actually shows he's. I have a feeling that he's free.
yeah,
I think
yeah. Now,
very
if he,
soon.
if he wins his appeal,
Yes.
would he have grounds to? I'm going to share this for people to see.
Hmm.
What grounds would he have to go after his accuser? Now, this This is Vivian Fisher, who worked with him for some time.
Mm,
Now, people don't know who hung out Reiner for the authorities to do this. This is the lady here. Um, it says within her profile when you look her up that she is known as an actor. It's got her down for the movie database and things that she's done. Is it likely that she was actually paid to do this? Because there was no real benefit for her to come out and actually try and do this to him. What do we think about Vivian Fisher? Has she been corrupted to be part and parcel of the
mm.
plan to bring him down?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, all I can say is take a look at this, make your own mind up. But anybody who is now put down as an actor on their profile and on social media and Wikipedia, alarm bells are ringing because there's a lot of bad actors out there and they're
Mm,
normally paid to play a part, which makes me
mm,
wonder whether she was paid to play a part in the downfall and the instrumentation of bringing him to where he currently is. So
mm,
there's something for people to go and research and make their mind up. And
mm.
yeah, I'm sure we can find her on social media. It looks like she's still living in the limelight and trying to enjoy her 15 minutes of fame. Now, as much as we like to think about Reiner being in jail, sometimes it is the people that get left behind that are also forgotten. How is Inka doing? And what can people do to help support her as she's now living basically in exile in Mexico?
Yeah. So how's she doing? Well, one can imagine that this is not an easy time
Mhm.
for the couple, Inka and Reiner, and it's not an easy time for Inka either. I went and visited her. I went there for 1 month, and I stayed two to help her with whatever I could, with all I had and all I know, and to support her. And well, it's not easy, as you say. Living in exile is not easy, and
No.
we don't know what happens to Reiner the next 5 minutes. I mean, we know because he's very courageous and he's continuing his work, but it is not easy. It
No.
is not easy. And when people want to support her, we also arrange that through the foundation that people can send help there, and it's
Yeah.
very, very much appreciated because it's not easy.
Yeah.
And the legal fees are is not easy.
No, no.
Some of the people who offer legal work are are multiplying the regular rates, which
Yeah.
is, I think, a moral question or a
Yeah.
question for integrity. I wonder at times.
Oh, yeah. The opportunities are gouge. But what we'll do, we'll also put the link in for the foundation so people can see that. If anybody wants to make a
Thank you.
donation or try and help out with the cause at the moment, again, that's greatly
Thank
appreciated.
you.
Are
Thank
they allowing Inca to have contact with him? Is she able to call him? And how often
No.
is it that she? No?
No, she cannot call him. No one can call him. Only he can call. So in this prison or in this not freedom house where he is now, he can call. And before in Rostorf, it was possible to have a 15-minute phone call once a week,
Yeah.
and maybe then later it was twice a week, and then they had it 1 hour video call per month. Now, here where is at, he can have more frequent calls, but no video calls. So Reiner and Inka have not seen each other for 6 months,
Wow.
not even through
I mean,
video.
it's good that they can speak. Has he said with the other inmates in the jail how well he's being received? Because obviously, a lot of people will know who he is and what he was
Mm,
fighting for. Are the
mm.
people that are in the jail with him, do they understand the purpose that he's trying to achieve? And is he getting support from people within the jail?
Well, I wonder how we can define support in an institution like that. But he certainly receives praise and he helps other people who live there as well with legal thoughts. And again, you can listen to that in that statement, because in one of them he even speaks about that by law it is allowed that if somebody can give legal advice, then they are supposed to do that, even within a not freedom house like in Bremervoorde. And they wanted to forbid him that. There were notes actually in the documents from the previous non-freedom house at Rostov, where they said that, oh yeah, he's playing himself as if he was an important attorney. Well, he is, and he helped many other people there, and of course that was very much appreciated. And some staff, not openly, but they are very supportive, and
Yeah,
they say we know that you're right, and we thank you for your work, and this is our work, and I do what I do for a living, but
yeah.
I'm on your side.
No, that's really
Mhm.
encouraging to hear. Actually, that's good, and I'm glad that he's got that basis. Is there any chance that they may release him before he even gets to the point of seeing his appeal?
Yes, I think so. Again, I'm not an attorney, so don't take this as legal factum. I think there is a great chance, and I'd like to share with you a little side story.
Yeah.
Um, the family has two family dogs. So Reiner and Inka have two family dogs. It's Jimbo and Annie. And they're big dogs and beautiful dogs. And so they are my friends now that I stayed with them 2 months. Yeah. We have a good friendship. And Jimbo was not doing well last week on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he could not get up. And he would not eat and he would not drink. Maybe a few drops of water Inka was able to give to his mouth. And on day 4, we posted a post on Reiner's YouTube channel, Reiner Fuellmich News Network, and with a photo of Jimbo. And we asked people, please send good thoughts, good energy, maybe a prayer, whatever you can. And guess what? The dog got up 2 days later, or within the second day, got up with Inka's help and walked out into the yard. And the following day, the dog even walked the steps.
Wow.
So when Inka shared that, and I said, look, this is the Maharishi effect, so when so many people come together, and so Inka asked me to create a post for Substack, and we did. And because when we understand that we are so powerful, and it's we together, in the togetherness. Imagine when we think for world peace, when 7,000 people in 1974 were able to meditate for 3 weeks with the sole thought of peace.
Mhm.
And that crime reduced and suicides reduced and even emergency calls reduced and world peace, so big conflicts eased. Now, when 7,000 people can that do, we are billions of people. We're billions. Imagine we just everybody for 1 minute a day. We just think, yes, peace and the good for the world. One
Yeah.
minute. Imagine how many billion minutes that is per day.
Oh, yeah. That's it. I
I
mean,
mean,
the power of this collective
yes,
energy, this collectiveness of
yeah,
people thinking
yeah,
about the same thing has
yes,
been demonstrated quite a few
yes,
times, and it is powerful,
yes,
not only in healing, but as you
yes,
say, in bringing about events. But unfortunately, a lot of people need to get out of the programmed mindset that's been put
yeah,
into place by the very people trying to enslave us. We know that the next steps, I'm sure Reiner's already considered the next steps that they're making with digital IDs and,
mm, mm,
cashless and digital currencies. The
mm,
net is closing in. And people really do need to wake up to this right now and start
mm,
pushing
mm,
back before it's too late. So,
mm.
as much as he's trying to handle what he's handling there, is he still well aware of what's going on in the world around him in other aspects?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, I think that he is more informed than most people,
That's good.
because he's receiving so many letters from around the world where people give him here a snippet and then they send him here something they copied from an article and then they write about this story and what happened locally there. He is very, very well informed, and I'm very proud that he is so well informed.
No, that's brilliant. Now, if somebody writes to him, obviously. I know what it's like if you get a lot of letters, you can't always get back to everyone. But are they
Yeah.
allowing him to write back and send letters back out to people as well?
That is not easy. No.
No.
What is possible is that he can do that through his attorney. When the attorney visits him, then he can give him mail.
Right.
Um, she can that they she can then, or they can, legal team then can put in the mailbox, but it's not easy. And certainly Reiner is not able to answer all and respond to all, but he does in his heart, because he, as I say, every single time we speak, he says, look, I mean, all these letters, all these postcards, all these good vibes, that really helps me be strong here.
Yeah. And I know obviously there's been no appeal or no release or release date yet, but are we
Yeah.
aware of any kind of rules and regulations that will mean maybe he can't leave Germany or he can't travel once he's released? Or once he's released, do we know if he's going to be able to head back over to Inka and literally get out of the place that kidnapped him in the first?
Well, so because there was neither an extradition nor a deportation, so therefore he absolutely can go to Mexico.
Right.
And I think that he is able to travel, and we will see. And I
Yeah.
think we will see happily. And the more people think regarding that, that Reiner is really united with Inca and the dogs, I think the sooner it happens.
Yeah.
So let's, when
Um,
we can bring a dog back up, then we can make that for Reiner too, I think.
yeah. And regardless of everything that went on in that situation,
Yeah.
did he actually get his passport back?
Well, yes, he received that, but he did not receive the new passport that he actually that he requested there in Tijuana. That he did not receive that. Yeah.
No, that's crazy. So,
Yeah.
what else should we know about in regards to his situation that's not been discussed between us here today?
Again, I think when people go and listen to the videos, the statements that Reiner released, and in German and in English, some have subtitles, many don't, because some of them were produced so rapidly that there was no time for the team to also produce subtitles, because you know, as a producer, that this is very time intensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is very important that people really listen to that, to these statements, the most important parts from his criminal complaint filed against the judge, filed against the district attorney, filed against his accusers, because that is how we then realize, wow, what is happening in Germany, and what
Yeah.
is the level of corruption that might go on in my neighborhood, maybe in my town, maybe in my village, maybe in my country, maybe in my state. And I think share. When any one of your beautiful audience, or yourself, Chris, when anyone has contacts to larger media, why is this not in mainstream? This is
Yeah.
such a large scale situation. It
Yeah.
is beyond comprehension. And yeah, speak, post it, share it, share it, share it, share it. We have so much material that can be shared, and that is curated by Inka, so you know it's good, it's from a good source, and that is Reiner's Substack, and that is Reiner's YouTube channel. And I think keep sharing, and send good postcards. Keep him in your thoughts, and see him free, and yeah, I visualize that they're reunited with Inka.
Yeah.
I believe that is something that is very important. And yeah, and be informed, and
Yeah.
send the letters and send the postcards. And remember, only postcards and letters are allowed.
Yeah, that's it. Now, obviously, we're highlighting the situation here today and letting people know what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, is he getting a lot of support from other platforms in Germany where they're trying to highlight what's gone on and show the people where he is? Um,
Yeah.
is are people joining forces to help him within Germany?
Yes, there are alternative media channels that do report on him or on the situation. And when there is something new, or when there's news, or when there's a new statement from him. And I'm happy actually to share them with you, and you can share them with your audience.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, yes, we can do that, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Well, I do believe that the again divide et impera, the divide and conquer, is also much used in Germany. And when people understood that only together it will work, only together.
Mhm.
It's no longer about competition because that's what the other side wants us to compete, and then we are occupied. Well, Johnny said that, and Susan that said that. Yeah, but that is not how it goes. We the joint the joint power, the joint thoughts, the joint vision. And is it okay that we may have not all the same idea? Yeah, but let's have a discourse on it. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a respectful conversation.
Yeah,
And I wish that there was more media reporting on him
yeah,
because that is actually that's systematic, right? They want to first they silence, then they take the assets, and then they take the reputation, and then but yeah, and then they don't want anyone to speak. So I think we are here to speak and give Rhino a voice as much as we
yeah.
can, wherever we can.
That's it. And we know that the mainstream media is not going to report it unless it's something in a negative light that supports the narrative that
Yeah,
they have.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, we've got a massive, powerful, influential system here that's been able to get him where he is by what I consider to be nefarious means. Um,
Mm,
does he have any concern that such a powerful system that's put him in prison now where he is also has the power to maybe get at him within prison? Um, has he had any threats made to him, or does he have any concerns of being in jail at the moment in regards to being vulnerable to a possible attack?
I think he is safe in prison. That is my thought. I'm not an expert on that. I think he's safe where he is at this moment. And I think that the other side, that system of which you're speaking, that is so powerful, I think it is not as powerful as it appears to be or as it wants to appear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the cracks are starting to appear. I think that we are literally on the precipice of things changing, and it might get worse
Mm,
before it gets better. But I think eventually, if we all stand in our truth and continue to speak
mm,
our truth and be honest
mm,
and expose
mm,
the dark that goes on in this world, that we will
mm.
see this through. There's light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And I do
Yeah.
believe that there is a major shift to remove this dark thing that's been going on in the background now for many, many centuries that's oppressed mankind, however we want to look at it. And I do believe that we're getting towards the end of that. But what we all need to do is remain vigilant and
Mm.
continue to push forward with the plans for making the world better. And I imagine that this is very much the same mindset that he has as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that he, in the meantime, realized that he's the light.
Yes,
And all that he's doing, he's shining the light into all sort of areas and corners. And what happens once there's light, that darkness does not exist, right? It's
that's
just
right.
the absence of light. So
Yeah,
let him be light, and he's shining very well. And I think he's doing it very successfully because what he's revealing is stunning,
yeah,
stunning. Really, I don't even know else to express it. But this is, I would have never thought if someone tells me 5 years ago that once I would be first interested in at all speaking about not freedom houses or institutions or reporting on an attorney friend, yeah, and being interested in geopolitics and what's behind the scenes. I would have not believed it. And well, you see, we all have our calling, and Reiner's calling is being the light, and
yeah,
he's shining. And
absolutely.
he continues shining. And I think that is what we can do. We can all be inspired by his strength and by his clever, absolutely well-spokenness, and how he's able to connect the dots is just absolutely fantastic. This is really, I don't know many people who can do that. I don't even know if I know someone who is that fast and able to connect the dots, so clever and so clear and so truthful. And I think it's inspiring for us. You be the light. You're the light now. You're the light for your audience.
Yeah.
And that is how light grows, and we become more confident and shine even stronger and brighter and more frequently and always.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, I think that's a great way to wrap this up here with it on a positive note that, if he is continuing to fight for the freedoms of the people out there whilst in jail, that's a sign that nobody should give up. We may have won some small battles, but the war is not over yet. And people still need to stand up in united non-compliance,
Yeah.
saying no to the establishment. And with this, we will mold a future worth having for future generations. And I do believe that, as you said, he is a beacon of light that people should become inspired by, and people should continue to speak out.
Yes.
People should never give up. If he's not giving up, we should never give up as well. And I think
Yeah.
that's a very positive thing to wrap this up with here.
Yeah.
So, Daisy, Papp, thank you very much for coming and talking to us today. It's been great to get in touch with you. And especially, it's not like I can get Reiner on again and talk to him. But this is the best thing at the moment we can do to keep in touch with you, to keep an update, allow
Yeah.
the lines of communication to be open for anybody that wants to send anything to Reiner. So
Yeah.
we really appreciate you coming on. It's been really
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. And
Thank
as
you. Thank
as we
you.
always say here on the Atlantic Underground, believe nothing and question everything.
I
And
agree.
hopefully we'll see you again soon and we can catch up in anything that changes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you very much, Daisy. You take care.